Alright, here we go. First YouTube video. No pressure, Dave, right? I've had that voice in my head since I started coaching. You'll never have a YouTube that works for you. You're not a content guy. You're too late to the game. You know, that kind of internal negative self-advice is sneaky, yeah? But I've learned to now react to it and try and do it aggressively in a positive way, right? And sometimes if you don't want to do a thing, just tell yourself it can't be done, because then you're either going to do it or you're going to die, okay? So this is it. This is my YouTube. And anyway, if you've ever found yourself replying to emails at 10 p.m. or, convincing yourself that clearing the decks is progress, or if your calendar looks like a game of Tetris, then this one could be for you, right? Because today I'm talking about something that properly slapped me in the face after nearly 20 years of working in senior roles in marketing, in finance, in elite sport, and in private equity. Okay, busy doesn't equal important, and effort doesn't mean impact. Okay, let me explain. There's a painful transition that every high performer has to make at some point in their career, and I've made it, and I resisted it many times, and I fell back into old habits many times, and I see it in nearly every client that I coach as well. It's that shift from being an operator to being an architect, from doing all the things to designing and creating the things, and to leading. At the start of your career, the only edge that you have really is work rate. You've got no experience, no leverage, no network, no blueprint, so you graft. And you say yes to everything. You stay late, you do the lot. That was me for years. Then you end up running big marketing teams, navigating pressure cooker roles, always on, always needed, emails, pictures, logistics, firefighting, crises. If it needed doing, you do it. Okay, I did it. That's your job, to quote Roy Keane, right? And I thought that was leadership, and I thought that being busy was being important. But eventually, that stage expires. You have to grow. Your teams get bigger. You're more experienced. Your role changes. You step into something bigger. So the job changes too. And your job is no longer to work hard. Your job is to try and think clearly, to create, to vision, to do the strategy, and ultimately to move the mission forward. And that is the real work. And it's terrifying because your self-worth has been hooked to output. Your confidence came from effort, being seen to produce work and being seen to be working hard. You're used to just pushing things through. You earned your success by doing hard things you didn't actually want to do, and that became your map of the world. And now you're meant to reset, you're meant to delegate, you're going to step back and trust. It feels weak, it feels indulgent, and it feels wrong, right? But here's the truth. Being busy is not the same as being useful. Okay? It can look impressive and it can feel productive, but more often than not, it's just a dopamine hit, and it's disguised as progress, and it's your safe zone. I see it all the time. Men in their 40s, successful on paper, but grinding like interns, still saying yes to everything, still scared to stop. Why? Because silence, it feels threatening, and stillness feels pointless. They're addicted to feeling needed. Right, I get it. When I left the corporate life, it felt like free fall. No meetings, no deadlines, just space. And in that space, the questions start to land. What am I actually building? What does success look like now? Who am I when I'm not actually busy? And let me tell you, it's way easier to clear your inbox than it is to sit with those type of questions. Okay, but that is the real work. That's the shift. And that's what I help my clients do, because at some point, every high performer, if you've got ambition, they want the same thing. I want to get to a place where I only do what I want to do. But when they finally get there, they panic because their identity is still built on doing things they think need to be done. So rest feels lazy, stepping back, and simplicity feels wrong, and saying no just feels selfish, right? So they end up filling their they end up filling their day with work that they don't need to do, just to feel important again. Okay, we've been conditioned to earn our rest, but what if rest is the thing that actually gives you the next breakthrough? Okay, what if that 30-minute dog walk with your daughter moves you forward more than any other day that you've got back to back on Zoom? What if lying on a beach with your missus listening to great music, with a dog chasing a frisbee, isn't indulgent? It's actually essential to move your mission forward. Because when you're calm, you're clear. When you're connected, you actually make better decisions. You lead more powerfully. Okay, you'll live with more presence. Okay, and this is one of the insights why I created Onto, to help high performers and help high achievers stop confusing motion with progress. Okay, to build a life that is on purpose, not just full. Okay, a lot of guys, instead of stepping back, you double down. You keep playing the same game, not because you want to win, but because you're scared of what happens when you stop playing it. How many times have you said to yourself or to someone else, I keep getting dragged into such and such a thing? How many times have you actually heard a successful CEO or executive say that? Never. Never, okay, because they've made peace with letting go of what's not theirs anymore. So they maybe reflect on this, okay? Are you still cranking widgets and calling it success? Or are you designing a life now that reflects who you are becoming? That's not an easy shift, but if you don't make it, you're going to wake up one day realizing that you spent the best years being needed instead of being free.